Action. All right, good morning there, YouTube. Ed here, W4EMB. It's approximately 9:57 a.m. I am back out at Fort Donelson National Battlefield here in Dover, Tennessee, and we're going to sit here and do some POTA this morning. So let's go ahead and get to it. Action again. Okay, folks, I've been listening to this frequency for a while, and also questions in the last video is about my keyboard. This is a folding Bluetooth keyboard. I got it from a store called Aldi. It's a grocery store, but the company's name that it's on is called Baughn, B-A-U-H-N. It was $5 at Aldi, but it works great with my. I Bluetooth it to the phone, so when I'm using the Polo app or Ham2K, for those that ask about my logging software, Polo or Ham2K, you look that up in your app store, and it's a wonderful app. So I've put my frequency in there, been listening to the frequency, called QRL, which I've already done. No one has answered or said anything, so I'm going to go ahead and on the Polo app, I'm going to say self-spot. And it says spot at 7047, which happens to be my frequency. In my comments, I'm going to put CW, and I'm going to go ahead and hit spot. So now by doing that, that's going to spot me on the POTA page. And so momentarily I should hit my ham alert, should pop up saying I've been spotted. If I'm coughing, folks, pardon me. So I'm kind of stalling just to see my ham alert app pop up and say that I've been spotted. But it might take more than just a second here. Alright, so I'm putting my cursor on their call sign. Oh, somebody's on frequency. Well, they're not quite on my frequency. Okay, and I think I just hit the ham alert. I did. And I might have hit. So they're off to one side talking to somebody. I got my filter set wide so that I can hear that, because I don't want to be right beside someone. So that way there's no confusion in who's talking to who. I hope he comes back again so I know which way to move. Okay, so they're below me. So I'm going to go up. So let me change my frequency here. QRL is the frequency in use. QRL. Alright, nothing heard. So 7.049, and sometimes when making the video and talking too much, I'll lose a frequency because I have called QRL, but that's way off. So all right, we'll go ahead and get started. That way we don't lose the frequency here. Yeah, so the Polo app is wonderful. It spots you. As long as you have internet coverage, you can do the self-spot without having to go to the POTA page itself to tell the POTA page you're here. It does all kind of great stuff. It tells you your rate of QSOs per hour, how long it's been since your last QSO, if you leave the log files in the app, you know, from your last POTA outing and the POTA outing before that, it will even tell you how many times you've made contact with that person. It'll bring up their first name, their state, which is nice. So that way, if it's a frequent flyer, it's nice to say, you know, good morning, Dave, or, you know, something like that in the exchange, if you're at that level. If you're not to the level where you can veer off course of the normal POTA protocol, then just keep it as simple as you need to. I think I'm going to have a customer soon. Maybe not. When I did hit and the Polo app also has a page for spots. You can touch it and it shows you who else is out doing POTA. And you can touch them, touch the screen on their call sign, and it will automatically change your frequency. So that way, once you enter, it will put their park number in, their frequency, call sign, everything. And you can go right back to the spots page. So basically, you use the spots page for hunting POTA. Works out really nice. I hear somebody tuning up to the side, you know, like not directly on my frequency. So sometimes when you hear that happening, that means they're tuning up close to you so that they can then come down or up to you to make the QSO. So that might be an indicator of a customer coming. Hello. W5GDW. Thank you, Gary. Gary's a wonderful person. W5GDW. I had something happen. I fat fingered my phone and I changed my mode to FT4. So when I was trying to put my RST in there, it kept coming up +8, +4, and we don't do digital here. So it tells me we're still getting out to North Carolina on 40 meters. I'm using the Chelegance MC750 vertical antenna. And I have a double set of radials. So instead of just a normal factory 4, I have a set of 8 radials. And all I did was I took the factory radials and measured them. And then I got some silicone wire, a little thinner gauge. And the silicone wire just folds up so nicely, doesn't develop a memory. And I took banana plugs. That was KB9 RPG Steve in Indiana. IN for Indiana. Sometimes people will tell you that they're in FL or they're in MI. And so I'll start to write Indiana in my state column because I think they're telling me that they're in Indiana. But now they'll say in Texas, and you're like, oh. So if you just send Florida or Texas or Michigan, I assume you're in that state. You don't have to tell me you're in it. That was Whiskey 4 VOA, Victor Oscar Alpha, in South Carolina. Excuse me. This one's going a bit slow, so I might have to actually do a lot more editing to this video. So I might not talk so much during this part of the video. We might just have to go ahead and switch to 20 meters where a lot of other people are. Well, I don't know about a lot. I see about 5 or 6 on 20. Might do about 3 more calls of CQ, and then I'll go ahead and go out there and do my jumper on my antenna, extend my whip to 20 meters. One, 2 more. Your duty cycle tends to go up when you're doing more transmitting than you are receiving. At least when you transmit and you make a QSO, you transmit, they transmit, you transmit, they transmit. So I call that about a 50% duty cycle. We're 80-90% duty cycle here because, well, not quite because of the space in between. But it's a higher duty cycle when you're just sitting there calling CQ over and over and over and over. So you have to remember those days. So that way if it comes time, you might need to charge your battery. Thank you, John. Good luck, he says. In 72. John, thank you very much. AA8UP, Upper Peninsula, Michigan. John. Now, no one's else is coming in there after the dit. So, let's go ahead. I'm going to go out there. First thing I'm going to do is plug the jumper to my radio in order to bypass my coil and then extend my whip. And so I'm going to go ahead and just switch to 20 meters. And I'll be right back. I'll let it. .339 into YLO, New York. And good luck. WD5JR out of Oklahoma. I started to write down WD5G, just confusing it with my first call sign of Gary's today, but they're not the same. You know, Gary's a W5. That was WD5. Sometimes when you have frequent flyers all the time, and then you get a similar call, you just get that frequent flyer call on your brain. K8ARE, good friend of mine. Hello, Marcos. Please go subscribe to his channel. Hello, Eric. KD7DT Idaho. That was N3FEL out of Pennsylvania. Before that was K5DGR in Colorado, who said park to park, park to park. K5OHY out of Texas. Oh man. Oh, no way. Are you kidding me? Wow. That was HA9RE. That's Hungary. From Dover, Tennessee. 5 watts. CW on a vertical antenna underneath a tree. How amazing is that? That's really cool. I had to keep question marking him. The prefix of his call was throwing me off. So you have to expect to get something other than an A, K, N, or W, don't you? What a pleasant surprise. This morning's going a little slower. Maybe I should have been out here a little bit earlier to start off on 40 and then transitioned over to 20. I could have gotten more on 40, I think, if I'd have been out here earlier. But you know, we've got 12 QSOs, so we have a successful activation. And honestly, you know what? After thinking about it, if I get 5 QSOs, I'm disappointed that I didn't get a proper activation as far as making 10. But what a success any QSO is that you make on the air. Matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and call this. I do have another thing to do, so I'm going to go ahead and this is QRT. This is W4ARB SK. Poof. There we go. Let's get my camera back on here. There we go. All right, folks. A little short one. I think I might go in here, maybe try to chop this one out just to publish just the QSOs in there. So if you're still here at the end of this, this is just me explaining why this video is chopped up, and I might have chopped out a lot of the talking portions just to keep the video a little shorter. I noticed that, you know, when you go to the YouTube analytics and you look at a hour and 18-minute video that you post, and the average watch duration is 3 minutes and 37 seconds. You know, it's like, this is why I don't quite take all the 4 hours to edit a 1 hour video anymore, just because the watch duration is slowed. But anyway, talking here into my fancy microphone. Thank you to my Coffee Crew Coffee Club and my channel supporters for the fancy microphone and camera. Through your support, that was possible, and thank you very much. And we're going to go ahead and hop off here and do another activity. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Ed, W4EMB. And cut.